Next Stage Productions presents Arabian Nights, starring Cassie Jackman as Scheherazade and Dane Ficklin as the Sultan, featuring Andrew Oliverson as the imperiled Ali Baba and Abigail Philpott as the resourceful Morgiana. Arabian Nights is an original radio drama miniseries brought to you in part by In the Telling, a podcast for storytellers, entertainers, and artists hosted and produced by Liz Christensen. Available wherever you get your podcasts and at LizzyLizzyLiz.com. It's all in the telling. Now, Next Stage Productions gives you Arabian Nights, Episode 2. We rejoin Scheherazade, who awaits the return of her husband, Sultan Shahryar, to his chamber. The Sultan believes he has been cursed by his first wife, Sultana Lilia, whom he executed after catching her in a dalliance with a young male slave. Since that day, the Sultan has married a new wife each night and executed her the following morning, certain that the curse would cause each to eventually betray him too. But the clever Scheherazade, knowing nothing of the Sultan's past when she was wed to him, has managed to survive beyond her wedding night, distracting her husband until the dawn arose with the intriguing tale of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. Eager to hear the end of the tale, the Sultan has granted her reprieve until tonight, but will fortune smile upon her a second time and spare her life again?
It is nearly sundown. The Sultan will return from hunting any moment now.
I did not fall. I was thrown by that stupid beast.
That is him. He does not sound pleased. Courage, Scheherazade. You must keep your head with him tonight if you hope to still have it in the morning.
1,000 pardons, great one, but perhaps if you were more rested...
I do not need more rest. I need a new horse. Get rid of it. If that beast is still in my stables tomorrow, I'll have your head on a platter.
But, Your Highness...
And where is the bride I am to marry tonight? Let us be done with this business.
Do you not remember, O Sultan? You are still married to your bride of last night.
What? Yes, I had forgotten. I've not had a wife more than one night since... for a great while. That means I will have to see her again. Who was it I married last night? I stopped trying to learn their names.
I quite understand, Your Greatness. Her name is Scheherazade.
Ah, of course. Scheherazade. Scheherazade. See to the disposal of that horse, then, Yusuf. Begone!
As you command, Your Highness.
Perhaps some wine will help dull this pain. I will call for a slave.
Allow me, my husband.
Scheherazade. I did not see you there before.
I have been anxiously awaiting your return. Drink deep, great Sultan.
Yes, that is helpful. What are you staring at?
My husband looks weary, and it appears he did not have a good day.
No, I did not have a good day. My prize horse threw me in front of all of my men, and my advisors had the audacity to question whether it was all my fault. My fault? I have been on a horse for as long as I've been able to walk. I could ride in my sleep, so even if I was asleep in the saddle today, which I was not, I never would have fallen if that idiot animal had not thrown me.
Is my lord injured?
No, I'm fine. My robe, however, did not fare so well. Do you see? It is torn from neck to shoulder. And one of my favorites, too. Now it is of less value than even that blasted beast.
If it pleases my lord, I could mend the tear. I have everything I need right here.
If I want that, I have the best tailors in the land at my command. I do not need you to mend my clothing.
I simply thought it would save you the trouble of having to call someone. I could have your robe restored in the time it would take for the tailor to arrive.
Fine. Mend it, if you can.
Does my lord need help removing his robe?
I am tired. I do not want to remove it. Mend it.
But my lord...
Mend it! But be careful with your needle. I should be very displeased if you should sew me instead of my garment.
Have no fear, my lord. My hands are skilled and sure. See, there is no need for you to fidget.
Must you stand so close?
Forgive me, but if my lord could please hold still?
You smell of lilac. I remember I'm reminded of someone who wore that fragrance as well.
Who is that, lord?
It is none of your concern. The odor stifles me. If you would work more quickly, it would not be a problem.
I am working as quickly as my circumstances permit, Lord. Please be still.
This is impossible. Here, take the rope from me. This would have been much simpler if you had allowed me to remove it first. You know, you were much better at telling tales than at mending clothing. Whatever happened to that Ali Baba fellow? Did he die a horrible death like his brother?
No, my lord. He lived a good life until the end of his days.
With 40 thieves trying to kill him?
If it please your grace to hear the end of the tale?
It will.
Very well. My lord will recall that Ali Baba's faithful and clever slave Morgiana had thwarted the first attempt of Balash and the 40 thieves to discover Ali Baba's identity and exact revenge for pilfering from their hoard of stolen treasures.
Yes, when the thieves marked Ali Baba's door with a sash, Morgiana tied identical sashes on the doors of 10 houses on each side of his. Very clever.
True, my lord. But Balash's wrath only grew when his aim was frustrated, so he contrived a new plot he was certain would allow him to find and catch Ali Baba. Disguising himself as a humble olive oil merchant and pulling a heavy cart laden with large barrels, Balash hired a boy in town to take him to Ali Baba's home.
Here is the house of Ali Baba, as you asked.
Excellent, child. You are sure that this man will admit a lowly traveler like myself for the night?
Oh, yes. Though he has lately grown rich, he remains kind. He will be a generous host. I hope you will be as generous with me for showing you the way.
Take your payment and go.
Allah's blessings be upon you, sir.
Now I will meet this Ali Baba and begin my revenge.
Yes? Who was at my door?
Allah grant you joy, my friend.
And you as well, friend.
Are you Ali Baba, who is called both wise and generous, and would give rest to a weary oil merchant for the night?
Are you one such weary oil merchant?
Allah has allowed that it be so.
Enter, O my guest. You shall rest in my home and eat at my table. What name shall I call you?
I am called Abu Nadal Abdul Nabal Nabu Dubal Nabadul Kashik. But to my friends, I am simply Abu. Many thanks to you, Ali Baba. I am honored by your hospitality.
The honor is mine, friend Abu. Morgiana, bring wine for our guest.
At once, O my master.
From whence do you hail, Abu?
Damascus.
Your wine, sir.
I thank you.
Damascus, you say? A long way to pull a cart so large as yours.
Yes, well, I enjoy the exercise.
Morgiana, our lamp grows dim. Will you take it and add more oil?
We have no more, O master.
Ah, then perhaps our esteemed guest would grant us some of his oil so that we may continue to enjoy the meal.
Ah, yes. Allow me to fetch you some of my finest supply from my cart outside.
Oh, Abu, my friend, I could not allow it. Morgiana, you will take an empty vessel and fill it with oil.
Yes, O my master.
Girl, be sure to use the barrel marked with a cross. That is my best store.
Very well. I will return shortly. I do not trust that man, Abu. Olive oil is very heavy, and no one would come this far from Damascus alone pulling his own cart. He is either a great fool or not who he claims to be. Now let me see, which barrel is marked with the cross?
Balash, is that you? Is it time?
Hush, Farouk. Balash ordered us to be silent as we wait.
Voices from within the barrels. I knew there was more to this than it seemed.
If we are supposed to be quiet, then why do you speak, Tariq?
To silence you! Oh Allah, why was I cursed to share a barrel with this chattering fool?
I'm not Allah, but I think it was because everyone else had already chosen their barrel partner.
Farouk, you must stop speaking.
But I heard someone out there, Tariq. I only wish to know if it was Balash, coming to tell us if it is time to spring the trap. It is cramped in here, and I am losing feelings in my legs.
You will lose more than that if your prattling gives us away. Now hush.
These must be more of the thieves seeking my master's life. I shall outwit them.
It is I. What did you say?
I said, Balash, is it time?
Not yet. Wait a little longer. And be silent.
Farouk obeys! Great Balash! Shh! I mean, Farouk obeys! Great Balash!
I must warn my master without alerting Abu, or Balash, or whatever he calls himself. They will surely kill us both swiftly if they learn I have discovered their deception. Oh, Master, this bottle has cracked. Will you help me find another?
What have I to do with bottles, girl? Forgive the interruption, friend Abu. It seems this slave can do nothing on her own.
Oh, my master will not heed me so that I may tell him of his danger. What can be done?
It is nothing, O my host. This wine makes such inconveniences feel trivial. I have rarely had such a fine red drink.
Ah, drink is his weakness. There is poison in the house. I will add it to the pitcher of wine and then to his cup when it is refilled.
Yes, this wine is made from the best dates that grow on the coast. I have been saving it for a special occasion such as this. Morgiana, refresh our guest's cup.
At once, oh my master. Oh, this is my chance. Oh, Allah, be merciful to me. Your wine, good sir.
Excellent. Oh, my host, you should never save a pleasure for later that you can have now. Waiting can make a bitter prize, like an overripe fruit.
Indeed, yet have not the wise men of old said, whoso regardeth not the end hath not fortune to a friend?
It has truly been said so, yet I have made my fortune by living in each day for the day and taking my chances when they came to me. You may regard the end, O my host, but remember, the end may come sooner than you think. Let us drink to that! Is this a different vintage than before? It seems stronger.
Yes, indeed, this vintage is meant to be drunk more deeply.
Ah, that is it then.
What are you speaking of, girl? We have only one vintage here.
Ah. It has an unusual spice quality. It burns the throat. Ah! It burns! It burns!
Friend Abu, what is wrong?
Ah!
Friend Abu, I feel no pulse. He is dead. Have you done this, Morgiana? This man was my guest and under my sacred protection.
Oh, master, I have saved you twice in 2 days. The thieves from the cave found your door and marked it, intending to kill you. I marked every door in the village the same way to protect you, and I protect you still. This merchant does not sell oil from his cart, but keeps barrels of thieves.
What? How dare you impugn the honor of our guest?
I tell you, he is no guest. Do you see? The cup is in his right hand, and in the left was a dagger he would use to kill you.
Yes, I see it now.
I have murdered your guest to save your life, Ali Baba. I beg forgiveness of Allah, who is all-knowing, and if I must, I beg your forgiveness as well.
Oh, Morgiana, surely it is I who must beg your forgiveness, and for many things. Truly, you have saved my unworthy life.
Oh, Master. Master, there are still 40 thieves in barrels at your door, and they will not keep forever.
Yes. Thank you, Morgiana. I thank you.
The thieves in barrels were arrested by the Sultan's guards, and Ali Baba went on to live a full and happy life. He and Morgiana continued in peace and prosperity, thanks to the secret of the magical cave.
We should have called the Sultan's guards in the first place. It would have saved a lot of trouble for everyone.
Yes, my Sultan. Leave your troubles now behind you as you slumber, and let me mend what you have torn.
Where am I? It seems so strange, yet familiar. This must be a palace? I see a sultan on a throne with his servants attending him. They seem to be awaiting the arrival of someone. Is that a young woman in the doorway? She is most beautiful. She reminds me of Lilia.
Enter, my dear. My servants and I have been expecting you. As you see, you are most welcome. Come and rest from all your cares.
There must be some mistake, for I know not how I came to be here.
That is my Lilia's voice. But how? She is dead. Am I dreaming? I must be.
There is no mistake. You are mistress over all you see. Come, have food and drink.
Rest yourself upon these pillows, oh my lady.
Will you take some wine, oh my lady?
Allow me to remove your shoes and wash the dirt of the road from your feet, oh my lady.
I know that one. He is the slave who caused my Lilia to stray from me. He is not to be trusted with her.
You are most kind. I do not think I should ever wish to leave here, for it seems that this place is paradise.
Oh, Lilia, it was. With you here, it was.
You need never go. We invite you to stay with us always. You will want for nothing. You will have everything your heart desires. There is just one condition.
And what is that?
Behold the door of red gold behind you. You must never enter it.
It is indeed beautiful. Why may I not enter it?
Because nothing good comes from opening doors that were meant to be left shut. You may freely go anywhere else you wish in the palace, but swear you will never betray me by entering that door. If you do, we shall be parted forever.
As you wish. I swear it.
My mind is much relieved, for I must be gone for 40 days to pay homage to my father who is king of all the land. After that time, I will return to you. Farewell. Come, my servants.
Foolish man. If he doesn't wish to be parted from her, why doesn't he stay? Or if he cannot, why not take her with him? Doesn't he know that by leaving her alone with it, she will surely yield to this temptation? Even now she approaches it.
What could be behind this door that is forbidden? Surely no one would use a beautiful door like this to conceal anything dangerous. This fine red gold is inviting by its very nature. Still, I have given my oath, and I must not break it. And 40 days isn't really so long, is it?
Please, don't open it, Lilia. Be strong, I beg you. He'll come back to you as soon as he can. Only a fool would delay his return to one such as you.
Nearly 40 days have passed. Time should have gone quickly in a place such as this, but alas, it has not. Why must I never enter this door of red gold? Why would he make such a request of me? See, I can touch it, and no harm comes to me. Surely it is safe.
Turn away, Lilia. You've come this far. Just wait a little longer for him, I beg you.
I did promise him never to go there, yet nothing but splendor has greeted me through all of the other doors. Surely this one can be no different. I will open it. It's you. I knew no harm would come.
The handsome slave boy. He was behind the door? But why? No! No!
Come with me, my lady.
No! Turn back! It's not too late! Don't go through the door! No! No! No, Lilia! No! No! Lilia, no!
Be at peace, my Sultan. There is nothing to harm you. I am right here by your side.
What? Who? Is that you, Scheherazade?
Yes, my Sultan. You've had nothing but a troubling dream.
Yes, I have nothing but troubling dreams. Tell me, woman, why should your kind be so unfaithful?
What?
Even if I give you everything you could desire, why must you still want more?
I don't...
Why must you chase that which is forbidden? Tell me! I see. You have no response, no defense. Your silence is an admission of guilt. You are resigned to your fate and see why you must die. Have you chosen how?
No.
I will give you until sunrise to decide. Now leave me be.
As you wish, my lord. Of course, my lord is fortunate that he is not like Sinbad, who was forced by law to be buried alive with his dead wife.
That is a ridiculous law. Surely no such law exists. I would never allow it.
But this man was not married in a land under your rule. Sinbad was a sailor who traveled far and wide on his 7 voyages, visiting many kingdoms and gaining and losing many fortunes. He battled giants, man-eating apes, and many other dangers. He discovered exotic lands and fabulous treasures. He went through unfathomable trial and hardship, but ended his days in peace and prosperity.
I have never heard of such a man. Tell me more about him.
It is unfortunate the sunrise is only a few hours away. There is not enough time to tell all about the man before I am to die, and my lord does not look well. Surely he needs his rest.
I have no intention of returning to sleep, and neither shall you. I desire to hear of this Sinbad the sailor, and you shall tell me about him.
If it pleases you, my sultan. There was once a poor, weary porter named Sinbad, who rested on a bench outside the home of a wealthy merchant after a full day's labor.
Oh, Allah in his heaven above, look at this beautiful home. The inhabitants live in ease while I must labor under the hot sun. How is it the owner of this house wants for nothing while I live a life of toil and want for everything? I am so weary. I shall rest in the shade on his doorstep.
Do you mind if I share your step?
It is sadly not my step. You are welcome, however, to sit until the master of this house sends his servants to drive us from his doorway.
I am fairly certain the master is not in his home right now. We should be safe. I am Sinbad.
I do not believe it. I too am called Sinbad, a humble porter at your service.
A happy coincidence. But back to your heavenward question. Would it surprise you to know that the master of this house has suffered afflictions and loss beyond comprehension before he settled into his life of ease, I believe you called it?
This story is dull. Why are there 2 Sinbads? It seems impossible that 2 men with such an uncommon name would meet. You said Sinbad was a sailor and had voyages and adventures. Skip to that part.
But my lord, this is a vital part of the story. Sinbad the sailor told his tales to Sinbad the porter to teach him about the goodness of Allah and how pleasure may be compensation for affliction.
I don't need a morality tale. I want an interesting tale. You mentioned something about a giant. Tell me about Sinbad and the giant.
The giant was the 3rd voyage. I cannot skip the 1st and 2nd voyages. There is an island that is actually an ancient whale with monstrous snakes and huge birds and jewels the size of boulders and...
Tell me about Sinbad and the giant!
On Sinbad's 3rd voyage, he and his men found themselves on an island inhabited by a terrifying giant.
Captain Sinbad, your lust for travel has finished all of us, your loyal crew.
If you had just been happy with your riches from your first 2 journeys, Captain Sinbad, we would not be shipwrecked on this deserted island.
Never fear, my men, for I, your brave Captain Sinbad, have been in many scrapes worse than this and have lived to see this one as well. We will escape if we do not fear.
Let us find shelter, Captain Sinbad, and settle for the evening.
An excellent suggestion, First Mate. I think nothing could possibly be better.
Sinbad's band worked their way through the jungle, and once far inland, discovered an enormous palace.
That is an enormous palace.
I wonder if there's anything good to eat inside.
Or any beautiful women.
We will probably never get that huge door open.
Nonsense! Put your back into it, men.
What if danger lurks inside?
Courage, men. Faint heart never won fair lady. Push!
Sinbad and his company pushed their way into the palace.
By Allah, a remarkable palace.
With a splendid lamb roasting on a spit.
And lentil stew.
With baklava waiting for dessert.
That will go straight to my gut.
Did I not say?
Finding food roasting on a spit is not a good thing in a palace this size. Whoever or whatever lives here is bound to be no ordinary person and will dislike our intrusion.
This is delicious. Come, join us, mate.
After the meal was devoured, the men settled in for a sleep.
We will thank our host in the morning and be on our way.
But their sleep was not to last that long, for the giant who dwelt in this palace soon appeared.
Who has eaten my dinner?
Wake up, Sinbad! The master of the house is here!
He wants to talk to you.
I told you this would happen.
Do not be afraid, my friends. We will face this evil like honest men.
I would rather back away like a liar.
My eye has found you. You have eaten my dinner. I am still hungry.
Forgive us, gracious host. We knew not whose house this was. We will bring you another sheep.
And lentil stew!
And baklava.
I am hungry now.
And the giant reached out his hand and snatched up the plumpest of the sailors and ate him in one bite.
No, no! Please spare me. I have a wife and children at home. Eat them instead. Ah!
I cannot believe my eyes!
Oh, that plump one was tasty. Now I will lie down to sleep. One of you others will be a fine breakfast.
Sinbad, what will we do?
My men, one of our companion is gone, but we still remain, and life is sweet. Put the spit back in the fire until it is white hot. When the giant wakes, we will poke his eye and escape while he is blind.
Hooray!
Sinbad and his men sat watch all night, keeping the spit white hot the whole time. Finally, the giant awakened.
I am hungry. Who among you shall be my breakfast?
Courage, men. Now! Stab his eye with the spit!
Sinbad and his men made a run for the door, while the giant writhed, shrieked, and stumbled about.
Quickly, men, out the door to safety.
I will kill you all for this.
Oh no, I have tripped! And the giant's foot is coming down! I will be crushed!
Fear not! I shall save you!
It is too late!
We're outside. Is everyone here?
No, Captain Sinbad. The giant crushed 2 of our crewmen, including the first mate.
Oh, alas for him, for the first mate was a true friend to me. By Allah, I will never lose another one again. But still, we remain and life is sweet. Let us go down to the shore of this island and hope we will attract the attention of a passing ship.
Hooray!
Follow me.
We will be back home in no time.
I cannot wait!
Halt! Do you hear something?
Oh no!
What is it this time?
It's an enormous snake! It must be as large as a fallen tree!
No, not a snake! I hate snakes!
Courage, men!
The snake swallowed one of the sailors before he could move a muscle.
Ah! This is what it hurts!
No! If you eat him, I'll be the only one left! Then I will die! Because Captain Sinbad always escapes!
Courage, man! Our friend is gone, but we still remain and life is sweet! Run!
Sinbad and the last sailor ran with all their might until the sailor lost his footing, tripped, and became prey to the ravenous serpent.
No! I almost made it to the end!
But I still remain, and life is sweet.
Sinbad led the gigantic serpent on a winding path past tree and rock and back again, until the serpent was a tangle of scale and fang. His belly, swollen with his breakfast of 2 sailors, became knots impossible to slip out of.
My enemy, I still remain, and life is sweeter than milk and honey. I will return to the palace of the giant, take all the gold and jewels he has, and return home richer than ever. And that is exactly what I did on my 3rd voyage.
Now that is a tale. A giant, a snake, and both defeated by that cunning fellow Sinbad. I should like to voyage as Sinbad and have adventures, not to be tied down and have to suffer the burden of marriages and wives.
Oh, marriage was not a burden for Sinbad. In fact, he was married several times. It was on his 4th voyage that he found himself buried alive with his deceased wife.
Tell me more of your adventures, Sailor Sinbad. That last one was delightful to these old ears.
Certainly, my good Porter Sinbad. You see, rich and happy as I was after my 3rd voyage, I cannot make up my mind to stay at home altogether. My love for trading and the pleasure I took in anything that was new and strange made me set my affairs in order and begin my journeys again.
Hooray! We sail with Captain Sinbad!
How was the sea today, first mate?
Fair sailing as far as the eye can see, Captain Sinbad.
Captain Sinbad, look! A gigantic storm
Batten down the hatches!
Courage, men. We are in for a rough go.
The storm hit Sinbad's ship like a wall of water.
Tossed back and forth, Porter Sinbad, it was all we could do to keep alive. Finally, the first mate was tossed overboard and lost at sea.
Send my wife my love!
Forgive me, Sailor Sinbad, but did you not swear an oath to Allah that you would never again lose your first mate?
Yes, indeed, my good Porter Sinbad. But the storm was sent by Allah, and His will is more powerful than my oath. Now, where was I? Ah, yes!
Send my wife my love!
Captain Sinbad, what shall we do? He is gone!
Oh, yes, he is, and more's the pity. But we still remain, and life is sweet. Hang on!
The ship broke apart, but Sinbad and all the sailors lived to see another day, washed up on the shore of a deserted island.
Have we not done this before?
Let us find some food. It feels like weeks since last I ate.
Maybe there's some beautiful native women. Feels like weeks since last I...
Halt! Listen.
Oh no!
What is it this time?
Cannibals!
Not cannibals! I hate cannibals!
Courage, men!
Cannibals?
Yes, cannibals!
Not cannibals! I hate...
Wait, Scheherazade. I thought this story was about Sinbad being buried alive with his dead wife. You said nothing of cannibals.
Very well. Sinbad survived the cannibals, but the sailors did not.
I knew we would not make it.
We did not even get to eat.
Ooga booga. Me did though. Nom 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 nom.
When Sinbad escaped the cannibals, he was nearly starved to death.
And so, my good Sinbad Porter, in my desperation, I, Sinbad the sailor, prayed. Mighty Allah, surely you have not brought me this far to leave me for dead. Send me one to save my life. Allah answered my prayer with alacrity.
Hassan, my servant. What do I see before my eyes? A man half starved. Quick, help him up.
Yes, mighty king. I shall aid him as one of our own.
Traveler, how have you come to these straits?
I am a man who cannot stay in one place, noble king. Sometimes my path is easy. Sometimes it is difficult. But Allah has always provided for me.
A true believer such as yourself will be as one of our own.
The King Raid showered Sinbad with wealth, favors, and abundance of all kinds.
He insisted I marry the most beautiful virgin in his kingdom.
I insist that you marry the most beautiful virgin in my kingdom.
Sinbad and his new wife lived in joy and prosperity in Raid's realm until a fever crept into the land. But Sinbad and his wife were so blissfully happy together, they scarcely noticed.
Greetings, Mufid, my neighbor.
Greetings, friend Sinbad. Your wife is looking as lovely as ever.
Thank you, Mufid.
Oh, it has been too long since we have seen you. How is your health, my friend?
I am in excellent health and have never been happier in my life.
It delights us to hear this great news, Mufid. And how is your wife?
Oh, she was ill with the fever until recently, but it has left her now.
Well, that is good news. Will you stay with us and talk with us?
Oh, I cannot.
But why?
I'm going to be with my wife. She needs me.
But did you not say that the fever had left her?
Oh, yes, it left her when she died yesterday.
No wonder you are so happy.
Why should that make him happy, my wife? I know I should mourn your death to my grave.
I certainly hope so.
I have come to say farewell. I go to be buried with her.
Imagine my surprise at this news. Good Sinbad Porter. What, Mufid? You say you are well, but surely there is some malady that plagues your mind, my friend. Why on earth would you be buried with your wife?
That is our law, Sinbad. Have you never heard it?
I have never heard such a thing here or in any kingdom under the sun. Is this true, my wife?
Yes, it is quite true, husband. Oh, I am going to lie down. My head aches.
Oh, farewell then. See you soon. Sinbad, I shall be buried with a loaf of bread and a little cask of water to set me on my journey to join my wife eternally in paradise. You have been a good friend, Sinbad, and I shall miss you. Good day.
I tell you, Sinbad Porter, from that time forward, my mind was never easy. If only my wife's little finger ached. I, Sinbad the bold sailor, feared she was going to die. Sure enough, before very long she too fell ill to the fever in the land, and in a few days breathed her last. My dismay was great, for it seemed to me that to be buried alive was a worse fate than to be devoured by cannibals. Nevertheless, there was no escape.
My greatest sorrows are for you and your wife, Sinbad. She was truly the most beautiful woman in the land. Tomorrow I, Hassan, the king's servant, shall send you, with all your great riches, on your journey to paradise.
What about my loaf of bread and cask of water?
You shall surely have them as well.
The hour came, and Sinbad's protestations were unavailing. He, with all the riches the king had bestowed on him and the body of his beautiful wife, was lowered into the cavern where his neighbor Mufid had perished by the side of his dead wife. The king, saddened to see this fate befall Sinbad, came to the cavern of the dead with Hassan to see Sinbad off.
Is there nothing that can be done, Hassan? An exception for an exceptional man like Sinbad?
No, my king. It is your law. And if you will not obey your own law, why should the people?
Yes, I see your point. I shall miss you, Sinbad.
And I you, O king. May you live forever. Or rather, may your wife live forever.
The spirits will surely come to guide you to paradise, Sinbad. Farewell.
The king and Hassan rolled a large stone over the cavern's entrance and departed.
I would fare much better if I were not trapped in a cavern with dead bodies all around me.
Sinbad remained in the cavern for 1 day and 1 night. He did not touch his bread or water, knowing he would need them later.
For surely I will not meet my end here.
Another day and night passed, and Sinbad ate 1 bite of bread and drank 1 sip of water, leaving the rest for later.
For surely I cannot meet my end here.
Another day and night passed, and Sinbad ate 1 more bite of bread and drank a 2nd sip of water, leaving the rest for later.
Oh, my friend Sinbad Porter, I tell you that in my desperation I prayed with all my heart. Mighty Allah, surely you have not brought me this far to leave me for dead. Send me one to save my life. Allah answered my prayer with alacrity.
But how? Pray, do not leave me in such suspense, Sinbad sailor.
Another man had died, and the king and Hassan opened the tomb to dispose of his body, as well as his unfortunate living widow, Amira, who was condemned as I.
The spirits will come to guide you to paradise, Amira. Farewell.
Farewell, Amira.
I would fare much better if I were not trapped in a cavern with dead bodies all around me.
Hello. I am Sinbad the sailor.
I am Amira. Are you not dead?
Nearly of starvation. Have you been delivered here with your ration of bread and water to guide you to paradise?
Of course. It is the law.
Praise be to Allah. If I make a solemn vow to assist you in escaping this cavern, will you share your bread and water with me?
But why would I think to escape? My husband is dead, and it is our law.
Do you not wish to see the sun again? To eat sweet plums and dance beneath the stars in springtime?
Allah forgive me, but I do.
Then, kind widow, know this. My wife and your husband are gone, but we remain, and life is sweet. I do not know how we will do it, but we will live to see another day.
That night, Sinbad and the widow Amira shared their loaves of bread and casks of water.
It is good to break bread with you, handsome Sinbad.
Shh. Listen.
Take all the riches to my treasury, and then throw the bodies over the waterfall. I, Hassan, command you.
You shall not have my treasure or my life, Hassan.
Are you still alive, Sinbad? You do not seem to be in a hurry to get to paradise. Do you enjoy it here in hell?
I know nothing of hell, but you soon shall. Amira and I fought desperately against Hassan and his guards. To my great surprise, I discovered that one of them was the first mate of my ship, who had been washed overboard in the storm. I could see that he had no desire to kill me, and so he pretended to fall before my might, hoping to frighten Hassan and his guards into giving up. But alas, they were not so easily dismayed, and by weight of numbers, they subdued Amira and me.
Guards, tie these two up. We will throw them over the waterfall after all.
What about the one Sinbad is slain?
He is a stranger to our kingdom, just as Sinbad. He will take Sinbad's place in this grave. Hold still, you two. There. All tied.
On your feet, prisoners. It's time to meet your fate.
No, please, no! I want to live!
They have gone. Alas, poor Captain Sinbad. I could see that he was pleased to discover that I, his first mate, who he surely thought was dead, was indeed alive. He alone tried to save me when I was being washed overboard. I must try to save him now!
High atop the waterfall, Sinbad and Amira begged for Hassan's mercy, but to no avail.
Those who have seen much rarely speak little. You will perish, and I will have your treasures.
Perhaps one day, Hassan, but now we remain and life is sweet.
Now you die, and that is sweet to me.
But as Hassan raised his sword to strike down Sinbad and Amira, Sinbad's former first mate arrived, leading the king and a large party of the royal guards.
There, O king. It is just as I said.
Hassan, stop! What is going on here?
Raid, we just caught these two trying to escape the Cavern of the Dead, flouting our laws and dishonoring the dead. We were merely going to ensure they joined their departed loved ones permanently.
Is that so? Then why is there treasure from the Cavern of the Dead piled behind you?
They are grave robbers, Almighty King. We did not seek to escape our fate, merely to stop them from plundering the dead. Is that not so, Amira?
On my life, yes. Though, given the choice, I would prefer to live.
Hassan, for your crimes, you will take Sinbad's place in the Cavern of the Dead. Sinbad, I am in your debt for showing me the evil which cloaked itself beside me. You shall take Hassan's place, to be my highest minister and live in my palace.
Sinbad, I am in your debt for saving my life. If you will have me, I would be pleased if you would take me as your wife.
I would be honored to serve under your command again, noble Sinbad.
My friend, you have saved my life today, and I'm in your debt. Please, take the offerings of this noble king, and this fine widow. My life is sweet, but I cannot remain, for the wind is at my back, and my journey must begin again. Farewell!
And with that, Sinbad leapt from the waterfall into the mist below, and on to his next voyage.
Ha! This Sinbad is an astonishing fellow. I wish to hear everything about him. How many voyages had he?
7.
7? Why on earth did you begin on the 3rd voyage? Start with the 1st and tell me everything.
But the night is ended. I see the dawn breaking through the window of this chamber.
Then you shall tell me more about Sinbad tonight.
I gladly would, but you have declared I am to die today.
You shall not die today. I have not heard all about Sinbad. Perhaps you shall die after that. Such a remarkable fellow. I wish I had 100 men just like him.
But for now, I remain, and life is sweet.
This has been the 2nd episode of Arabian Nights, starring Cassie Jackman as Scheherazade, Dane Ficklin as the Sultan, and featuring Eric Millward as Sinbad the Sailor. Tune in again to hear episode 3 of Arabian Nights, brought to you by Next Stage Productions. This is Ed Farnsworth saying thank you for listening, and please join us next time.